Please rise, ladies and gentlemen. The 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan is now convened for its 90th regular session. The Honorable Vice Governor Adeline M. Angeles presiding.
The 90th regular session of the 16th Sangguniang Panlalawigan is now called to order. Requesting Honorable Carlos de Peralta to kindly lead the invocation, to be followed by the national anthem.
In the loving presence of the Lord, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord, we come before you today, asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support, as we embark once again the important work of legislation. Lord, continue to remind us that all we do here today, all we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth and in the service of humanity, especially our people. Please bless us, Lord, all our efforts here, so that we may be able to perform all our tasks and live up to the challenges ahead of us. We pray for good health. We pray also for the humility to accept our limitations in knowledge, time, and resources. We pray for the generosity we share, that we have and what we know. Lord, be our guide in today's proceedings. May you shower us with your vision to think and to act right as way of serving you. Grant that we become living instruments for the benefit of well-being of our people. Amen. In the name of God.
Bayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, buyak ka lang magiliw, sa manlulupi, kita masisingil, sa lahat ang bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo kamay, ay nilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang nilaman. Ang isang ng watawat mo'y nagumpay na nakikinig, ang bituin na parang niya kailan ang pag-ibig. Lupa ng araw ng maraming pagsakang, lalangin sa atin ko. Aming ligaya naman may mamagin, ang namatay ng tayo sa'yo.
Requesting our good SP Secretary to kindly call the roll.
Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballes, Honorable Aurelio J. Leva III, Honorable Antonio L. Mangkukang III, Honorable Bernardine Opis Mercado, Honorable Melgabal R. Encabo, Honorable Mercedes Arrijano, Honorable Danilo R. Red, Honorable Ismael D. Pilim, Honorable Jose Neril L. Manggol, Honorable Carlos F. de Peralta, Honorable Bertinos A. Valencia. Madam Presiding Officer, with the 8 members of the board present, we have the necessary quorum for this afternoon session.
The chair then declares the presence of quorum. We can proceed with the order of business, recognizing the floor leader, Honorable Aurelio Leva III.
Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. Madam Presiding Officer, for the reading and adoption of the minutes of the session dated June 14, 2024, I move that we dispense with the reading and consider the same as having been read without prejudice to the corrections to be made by the members of the board. I so move.
Any objection that we dispense the reading of the minutes and proceed directly to the correction? The chair hears none. The motion of the chairman of the Committee on Rules is approved.
Madam Presiding Officer, for the correction, may I invite the Secretariat on line 43 of the said minutes that this representation is an official business. Inviting other members of the board who have some corrections.
Any additional correction from the floor? Again, sa mga hindi nakadalo, merong asterisk. Ano nga pong ibig sabihin ng asterisk? Okay. Thank you. So, any other correction from the floor? Hearing none?
Hearing none, may I ask the Honorable Antonio L. Mangkukan to do the motion since this representation is absent during that time.
What is the pleasure of Honorable Mangkukang?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, Mr. Floor Leader. I move for the adoption of the minutes of the previous session dated June 14, 2024 with the corresponding corrections, Madam Chair. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Mangkukang. Any second? Duly seconded. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The minutes of the session dated July 14, 2024 is now approved with correction.
For the reading and adoption of the minutes of the June 21 session, may I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes and consider the same as having been read without prejudice of the corrections to be made with the members of the board. I so move.
Any second to that motion? Duly seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, the motion of the chairman of the Committee on Rules is approved. Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Any corrections from the members of the board? Hearing none, may I ask the Honorable Melgabal R. Incabo to do the motion of approving the minutes of the June 21, 2024 session.
Yes, Honorable Melgabal Encabo is recognized.
Good afternoon. I move for the approval and adoption of the minutes on June 24, 2024. So I move, Madam Chair.
June 21.
June 21, 2024. So I move, Madam Chair.
Is there any second to the motion? Duly seconded. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The minutes of the June 21, 2024 session is now adopted.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Parang ang nag-declare ko ata kanina ay July 14, tama ba?
June 14.
Okay, the presiding officer reconsiders the date in the declaration a while ago. It's the minutes dated June 14, 2024. Thank you.
We now go to the matters arising from the minutes, inviting members of the board who have some matters arising from the minutes.
Any matters from the floor involving the 2 minutes of the session? Hearing none, what is the pleasure of Honorable Leva?
Hearing none, we now go to the approval and amendment of the agenda. For today's agenda, we don't have any privileged speech nor question hour. We now go to the committee reports. The first item in our committee report is committee report number 424-2024. May I ask that we recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Education, Culture and Sports for the joint committee report of the Committee on Education, Culture and Sports and the Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances.
Honorable Danny Red is recognized for the joint committee report of the Committee on Education, Culture and Sports as well as Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Committee report number 424-2024. Joint committee report of the Committee on Education, Culture and Sports and the Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances. Subject, proposed ordinance number 16-42 entitled An Ordinance Institutionalizing the Bayanihan 3R Baya Program, Reading, Writing, and Arithmetic in the Department of Education, School Division of Marinduque, providing mechanism for its implementation, appropriating funds therefore, and for other related purposes. The joint committees unto which the above titled subject proposed ordinance number 1642 was referred to hereby present its finding and the recommendation for appropriate legislative action of the board. findings. Number 1, the proposed ordinance as above titled was offshoot of a request for funding from DepEd Marinduque amounting to 3,294,000 for the proposed project Dove of Bayanihan as Basabaya Lahat program, which aim to equip learners with the reading skills and make them proficient and independent readers in their grade levels, which was greatly affected by the asynchronous learning modalities during the pandemic. Number 2, the proposed ordinance was calendared as approval for first reading on May 26, 2023 and subsequently referred to the Joint Committee. An initial hearing for the conducted and the result of which was embodied in Committee Report number 164, 2023, that was rendered and adopted on June 9, 2023, regular session. There were amendments that were introduced in the proposal. Among the recommendations was to repair and amended draft of the proposal to the PBO and the DepEd for their final comments and recommendations. The committee receives the submission from PBO and DepEd. The PBO submitted their concerns, suggestion on the different sections of the proposal to it, on Section 4, objectives, on Section 7.3, implementation, on Section 8.2, mechanism, on Section 9, funding, all of which had been considered by the committees and incorporated in the draft. DepEd supported the proposal and signified its intention to abide by the guidelines set forth therein. Wherefore, based on the foregoing, the Joint Committee hereby recommends to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan ibang the approval for second reading proposed ordinance number 16-42 entitled An Ordinance Institutionalizing the Bayanihan sa 3R Baya Program, Reading, Writing, and Arithmetic in the Department of Education, School Division of Marinduque, providing mechanism for its implementation, appropriating funds therefore, and for other related purposes. Respectfully submitted for the Committee on Education, Danilo R. Red, Chairperson, Bertinos A. Valencia, Vice Chairperson, Mercedes R. Rihano, Member. For the Committee on Rules, Aurelio J. Leva, the third Chairperson, Member Committee on Education, Mark Julius P. Caballes, Vice Chairperson, Member Committee on Education, Bernadine Opis Mercado, Member, Jose Neril Manggol, Member. I move for the adoption of the committee report, Madam Chair.
There's a motion for the adoption of the committee report. But before that, any clarificatory questions from the floor? Just a question. Meron po dito ang appropriation provision. Meron, saan po, ito po ba'y automatic doon kukunin sa Special Education Fund? Or kailangan pang mag-appropriate ng additional?
Actually, Madam Chair, ito po ay bigyan natin ng pondo, yung 3,294,000 nung nakaraang taon. Hindi po nila nagamit dahil hindi nila alam na na-approve. Hindi alam ng DepEd na na-approve natin. So, napapunta po sa savings ang pera na 3,294,000. So, ngayong pong taon ay nagre-request po ulit sila ng another 3,294,000.
So, kasi we will be institutionalizing it po. So, ibig sabihin, every year, we are going to allocate a certain amount.
Madam Chair, sa committee meeting po, committee hearing, napag-usapan po na 1 million every year for 5 years. For 5 years lang po ang ano nito, ang pwede natin maibigay. Once na ma-implement po nila itong 3,294,000, Madam Chair. Kaya po nag-aantay kami ng ng data sa kanila kung ilan na lang ang kasi mababawasan naman yung mga hindi marunong bumasa dito, Madam Chair.
Okay po. So, ang intention po pala nito is for the itong first 5 years, merong tigwa 1 million. Tama.
Yes, Madam Chair. Pero
Tapos,
ito, Madam Chair, yung unang request nila dito,
3 million.
yung 3,298,000, Madam Chair.
So, bali,
Na hindi naman nila na-implement, Madam Chair.
oo, so, bali wala na po yun. So, starting kung kailan po ito ma-implement, tigwa around 1 million each year.
Yes, Madam Chair. For 5 years, Madam Chair.
For 5 years. Forgive me po, hindi ko ulit na-review. Naka-reflect po ba dun sa ordinance natin na for 5 years
For 5 years lang po talaga
ang intention?
ang intention nito, Madam Chair, dahil ang intention po ay masiro-zero yung pong mabagal bumasa at dito po sa bumasa at sumulat at saka dito po sa math, Madam Chair. Ito po ay ang intention po nito, Madam Chair, ay magkakaroon sila ng parang extrang time para sa pag-aaral nila.
Okay po.
Madam Chair.
So, is it possible, Mr. Chair, na ma-reflect yung intention na yon na it will be, kasi pag in-institutionalize natin to, in as much as nag-exist yung ordinance, dire-diretso po yun, 1 million. Kailangan pondohan. Ngayon, if
Yes,
the
Madam
intention naman po ay 5 years muna, and
Opo.
after 5 years ay i-review kung kailangan pa, kung dagdagan, kung bawasan, then maganda ho siguro ay ma-reflect doon ho sa committee report para maisama po, ma-reflect din doon sa ordinansa yung ganun pong intention ng committee.
Okay.
Kung okay lang po yun sa
Okay lang po, Madam Chair.
sa chairman. Salamat
Okay lang
po.
po.
So the chair po is amenable to include that in the recommendation
Yes,
na
Madam Chair.
i-reflect dun po sa ano.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So again, there is a pending motion, and a while ago, the reporting committee chair accepted some additional provisions in the committee report. So there is a pending motion from the joint committee. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved with additional information, with additional provision. So it was adopted already. Okay, with some inclusion. Okay po. And the chairman of the Committee on Rules is will just consider it for scheduling for second reading sa susunod na
Yes, Madam Chair.
session as the rules may deem necessary.
Yes, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, may this representation be recognized for the joint committee report of the Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances and the Committee on Tourism Development and Cultural Heritage.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Yes, proceed, Honorable Leva.
Committee report number 425-2024 of the Joint Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances and the Committee on Tourism Development and Cultural Heritage on the subject proposed ordinance number 16-66 entitled An Ordinance Declaring the Kalutang Group as an Official Cultural Group in the Province of Marinduque. In relation to the above stated subject proposed ordinance, a joint committee hearing was conducted by the Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances and the Committee on Tourism Development and Cultural Heritage on June 11, 2024, and the result of which is hereby being presented to this honorable body for consideration and appropriate legislative action. Present during the said hearing are the following: yours truly, Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballes, Honorable Mercedes Ariano, Honorable Dalino Arred, Honorable Jose Nerid L. Mangol, and Honorable Bertinos A. Valencia. Resource person, Ms. Miriam Sadiwa, PBO, and Mr. Josirino M. Labay, PTCO. Findings. The preservation and enrichment of culture is among the mandates of the local government units under Section 16 or the General Welfare Clause of Republic Act 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991. Declaring the Kalutang Group as the official cultural group is aligned with the Marinduque's pursuit of cultural preservation and is a significant step in preserving, promoting, and celebrating traditional Filipino music. It also enhances cultural identity, foster collaboration, and networking, boosts cultural tourism, and provides support for the continued preservation and growth of the Kalutang Group as musical heritage. Currently, the Kalutang Group is considered a private group, and through this ordinance, they can be provided with the necessary assistance, financial or otherwise, to ensure the preservation and enrichment of such unique culture in the province of Marinduque. Initial recommendation. The definition of kalutang shall be amended to read as follows. Kalutang shall refer to the traditional music instrument consisting of two wooden sticks, usually made of kwatingan o bayog, that are struck together to produce a rhythmic sound. The budget appropriation for the implementation of the ordinance shall be under the Provincial Tourism and Cultural Office. Final recommendation, the Joint Committee hereby recommends for the approval on second reading of the proposed ordinance number 16-66 entitled An Ordinance Declaring the Kalutang Group as an Official Cultural Group in the Province of Marinduque. Respectfully submitted, yours truly as a chairperson of the Committee on Laws, Rules and Ordinances, Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballes, Honorable Neril Manggol, or Honorable Bertilos A. Valencia. Honorable Antonio L. Mangkukang, Chairperson of the Committee on Tourism Development, Honorable Mel Cabar R. Encabo, Honorable Bernardine E. Opis Mercado, and Honorable Ismael D. Pilim. Honorable Adeline M. Angeles, Vice Governor and ex officio member. Madam Presiding Officer, may I move for the adoption of Committee Report number 425, Series of 2024.
Thank you.
I second the motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Leva. Before the formal adoption, the presiding officer was just reminded, dun po ba sa inyo pong pag-uusap sa committee level ay napag-usapan din yung possibility kung paano duly marirecognize si Maestro, yung pong pinakang founder nitong ano?
Ang pinag-usapan po lang namin ay the Kalutang Group,
The Kalutang
Group
mismo.
itself.
Okay po. Okay.
And according to the Provincial Tourism Office, it is a welcome development that we make it official that this group will be the official cultural group of the province because they are encountering problems when it regards to the finances of this group, because as of the moment they are considered as private entity. With the enactment of this ordinance, they can be given and aided financially by the provincial government by virtue of this ordinance. And that is the comments we gathered from the Provincial Budget Office.
Okay.
With the enactment of this ordinance, there will be
legal basis.
Yes, Madam.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Leva. So there's a pending motion from the Joint Committee. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. And the committee report number 425-2024 as rendered is now adopted.
Madam Presiding Officer, may this presentation be recognized again for the Joint Committee report of the Committee on Rules, Laws and Ordinances and the Committee on Appropriation.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Committee report number 426, series of 2024, proposed ordinance number 16-55 entitled An Ordinance Recognizing the Provincial Capital Choir as the official choral group of the provincial government of Marinduque and providing funds therefore. In consideration of the referral to these reporting committees of the above stated subject ordinance, a joint committee hearing was conducted June 11, 2024, and the result of which is hereby presented to this honorable body for appropriate legislative action. Present during the said hearing are the following: yours truly, Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballas, Honorable Mercedes Arellano, Honorable Danilo Ared, and Honorable Jose Neril Mangol, Resource Person Honorable Miss Miriam Esadiwa, and Mr. Jose Rino M. Labay, PTCO. Findings: the provincial capital choir has been in the forefront of showcasing the culture and tradition of the province, particularly in performing the putong, which is the traditional way of the province in welcoming guests and tourists. In some cases, they even represent Marinduque in cultural activities outside of the province. The primary purpose of this ordinance is to ensure the continuous training of its member, as well as the recruitment of new members to ensure the continuity of the group. The provincial budget officer expressed support to the ordinance and stated that the appropriation of the implementation of this ordinance could be appropriated under the office of the governor. Recommendation: the joint committee recommends for the approval on second reading of the proposed ordinance number 16-55 entitled "An Ordinance Recognizing the Provincial Capital Choir as the official choral group of the province of Marinduque and providing funds therefore." Submitted, yours truly, Honorable Ismael D. Pilim, Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballas, Honorable Danilo Ared, Honorable Bernardine E. Opis Mercado, Honorable Jose Neril Mangol, Honorable Bartilos A. Valencia, Honorable Adeline M. Mangeles, Vice Governor and ex-officio member. Madam Presiding Officer, may I move for the adoption of Committee Report number 426, 2024.
Thank you, Honorable Leva. Before the final adoption, hinahanap ko po yung kopya, ay hindi ko po ma-locate ngayon dito sa aking file. May the presiding officer just be reminded, meron po ba dun sa ordinance na nakalagay kung sino ang mga qualified to be member of the Provincial Capital Choir?
None, Madam Presiding Officer. What is in the ordinance is the official recognition of the group. So the provincial capital choir shall be recognized as the official choral group of the province of Marinduque.
Okay, so wala pong, kasi iniisip ko lang po, yun ba ay kailangan na regular mga empleyado, or pwede ba ang JO, pwede ba ang retired na? Just to clarify, kasi pag sinabing provincial capital choir, sino sila?
We can include
Clarify.
that. Yes, Madam Presiding Officer. So we will include that in Section 3.
Okay.
Who are those who are qualified to be a member of the
Provincial
capital choir?
Okay. Thank you.
Not necessarily, but the mode of hiring them.
Yeah. Can we hire somebody or people just to be a member of the capital choir? So maganda hong ma-clarify, or kailangan ba siya ay empleyado, or pwede bang retired na pero member pa rin ng capital choir? Ayun.
I think by the name itself, capital choir, it should be coming from the employees and officials of the provincial capital.
But it should be clear din po. Okay, thank you, Honorable Leva. So the reporting committee chair is amenable to some
Yes, Madam
amendments. So any other clarification from the floor? Hearing none, there is a pending motion for the adoption of the joint committee report as rendered with some additional, with some inclusions with regard to the clarification on the qualifications of who will constitute the provincial capital choir. So any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Committee report number 426-2024 is now adopted.
Madam Presiding Officer, may this presentation be recognized for the committee report number 427-2024 of the Joint Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances and the Committee on Youth and Sports.
Proceed, Honorable Eva.
Committee report number 427-2024 of the Joint Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances and the Committee on Youth and Sports on the subject proposed ordinance entitled An Ordinance Establishing the Governor's Excellence Award on Academics and the Sangguniang Panlalawigan Excellence Award for Leadership in the Province of Marinduque. The hearing reporting Joint Committee unto which the above stated subject proposed ordinance was referred to hereby present its findings and recommendation as a result of the Joint Committee hearing held on June 11, 2024 for consideration and appropriate legislative action of this honorable body. Present during the hearing are the following: Honorable Aurelio J. Leva III, Mark Julius P. Caballes, Mercedes Arellano, Jose Neril L. Mangol, Carlos F. De Peralta, and Bertinos Valencia, resource person, Ms. Miriam S. Sadiwa of the Provincial Budget Officer. Actually, Madam Presiding Officer, this is just a follow-up hearing of the committee. We have previously invited the different school heads of the different higher education learning institutions in the province. Findings: the purpose of this ordinance is to highlight and recognize the best academic and leadership performances of graduating students of higher educational institutions in the province. The award is expected to add new meaning and purpose of aspiring college students to keep on traversing with the provincial government through the present administration and leadership in the path towards achieving excellence both in academics and leadership. The Provincial Budget Office interposes no objection on the proposed ordinance. Recommendation: the Joint Committee hereby recommends for the approval on second reading of the proposed ordinance 16-54 entitled An Ordinance Establishing the Governor's Excellence Award on Academics and the Sangguniang Panlalawigan Excellence Award for Leadership in the Province of Marinduque. Respectfully submitted, yours truly, Honorable Bertinos A. Valencia, Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballes, Honorable Bernardine E. Opis Mercado, Honorable Jose Neril Mangol, Honorable Carlos F. De Peralta, and Honorable Adeline M. Angeles, Vice Governor and ex officio member. Madam Presiding Officer, may I move for the adoption of Committee Report number 427, series of 2024.
Any clarificatory questions from the floor? Hearing none, there is a pending motion. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The committee report number 427-2024 as rendered is now adopted.
Madam Presiding Officer, may this presentation be recognized again for the committee report number 428-2024 of Joint Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances in the Committee on Education, Culture, and the Arts.
Proceed, Honorable Eva.
Committee report number 428-2024, Joint Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances in the Committee on Education, Culture, and the Arts on the subject proposed ordinance number 16-59 entitled An Ordinance Granting Cash Incentives to Marinduqueños who graduated with Latin honors and who are board and bar examination top-notchers and providing funds in the implementation thereof. In consideration of the above stated subject proposed ordinance, which was referred to the hearing committee reporting committees, a joint committee hearing was held on June 11, 2024, and the result of which is hereby being presented to this honorable body for consideration and appropriate action. Committee members, Honorable Aurelio J. Leva III, Mark Julius P. Caballes, Mercedes Arellano, Danilo Arred, Jose Neril Mangol, and Honorable Bertinos A. Valencia, resource person, Ma'am Miriam Sadiwa, Provincial Budget Officer. Findings: the purpose of the ordinance is to recognize and incentivize graduates and individuals who brought pride and honor to the province and give them due merit and appreciation for their exemplary achievements as either graduates with Latin honors, bar top-notchers, and board examination top-notchers. The residence requirement must be clarified in this ordinance. The provincial budget officer interposes no objection for the proposed ordinance but recommended specifying the period of activity on the grant of the said incentives. Initial recommendation: the period of effectivity of the grant of monetary incentives for graduates with Latin honors shall be for the school year 2023-2024 and every school year thereafter. The period of activity of the grant for monetary incentives for bar or board top-notcher shall be on January 1, 2024. Recommendation: the Joint Committee hereby recommends for the approval on second reading of the proposed ordinance number 16-59 entitled An Ordinance Granting Cash Incentives to Marinduqueños who graduated with Latin honors and who are board and bar examination top-notchers and providing funds in the implementation thereof. Respectfully submitted, yours truly, Honorable Danilo Ared, Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballas, Honorable Bertinas A. Valencia, Honorable Bernardine E. Opis Mercado, Honorable Mercedes Arellano, Honorable Jose Neril Mangol, and Honorable Adeline M. Mangeles, Vice Governor and ex officio member. Madam Presiding Officer, may I move for the adoption of Committee Report number 428 series of 2024. I so move.
Any objection from the floor? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Committee Report number 428 as 2024 as rendered is now adopted.
May this representation be recognized for the committee report of the Committee on Rules, Laws, and Ordinances and the Committee on Peace and Order and Public Safety.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Madam Presiding Officer, this has something to do with the request of the Governor for an authority to enter into a memorandum of agreement by and between the provincial government of Marinduque and the National Police Commission with regards to the entrance examination to be conducted by the NAPOLCOM. The role of the second party, which is the provincial government of Marinduque, is to provide a venue for appropriate for the examination that will be fully compliant with the standard sets by the National Police Commission and provide the necessary funding for the cost entailed in the holding of the NAPOLCOM examination in the province of Marinduque based on the proposal submitted by the NAPOLCOM, including but not limited to traveling expenses, lodging, food per diem, and honoraria for examiners and security officers from the NAPOLCOM Central Office, Regional Office who will administer the examinations in the province of Marinduque, supervisors and proctors' fees and snacks, allowance of schools, security officers, medical and emergency teams and janitors, payment for the school that will be utilized as examination venue, shipping freight expenses for examination, boxes to and from the central office and the regional office in Marinduque and other incidental expenses, and provide such assistance as may be requested by NAPOLCOM to ensure that the administration of the examination will be orderly and free from the acts of dishonesty. I was about to recommend the granting of authority to the governor to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the NAPOLCOM with regards to the to this subject. However, I found out, Madam Presiding Officer, that the memorandum of agreement was already signed by the two parties, the National Police Commission, represented by Commissioner Alberto Bernardo, and for the provincial government, Governor Presbyterio J. Velasco Jr. on May 22, 2024, and notarized under Attorney Felizardo Ibarra. Instead of granting authority, I would this representation as chairperson of the both committees of rules and peace and order would like to recommend to ratify the ordinance since it was already signed. So I move for the adoption of a resolution ratifying the memorandum of agreement entered into by and between the provincial government of Marinduque and the National Police Commission. So that is the recommendation of the committee, to ratify rather than give authority.
Okay. Thank you. Is there, so there is a pending motion for, wala pa. So that is the recommendation of the committee, and what is now the pleasure of the reporting committee chair?
I move for the adoption of the committee report.
Any objection to the adoption of the committee report as presented with the use of the term ratification instead of granting authority? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The joint committee report as rendered is now adopted.
And that the accompanying resolution be transferred to the business for the day in today's session.
The accompanying resolutions will be transferred in the business for the day for final disposition.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask that we recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Education for the committee report of the Committee on Education with regards to the memorandum of agreement with TESDA and BISAT.
Recognizing Honorable Danny Red.
Madam Chair, I move for the adoption of the committee.
May we hear first po, what is the recommendation of the committee with regard to the MOA?
I move for the approval of the committee granting authority to enter into a memorandum of agreement by and between the provincial government of Marinduque and the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, Buyabado School of Arts and Trades, Madam Chair.
Okay. So the committee is recommending for the granting of authority as requested by the governor.
Yes, Madam Chair.
And the reporting committee chair is moving formally for the adoption
Yes, Madam
of
Chair.
the committee report and recommendation.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The committee report as rendered by Honorable Red with regard to the request of authority by the governor to enter into a memorandum of agreement with TESDA and TESDA BISAT is now adopted.
Madam Chair, and the accompanying resolution be transferred to business of the day, Madam Chair.
Noted, Honorable Red. The resolution as recommended in the adopted committee report will be considered in the business for the day. Thank you, Honorable Red.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask that we recognize the chairperson of the Committee on Education, Culture, and the Arts for the proposed resolution number 2024-744 and proposed resolution number 2024-745.
Yes, again, the chairman of the Committee on Education, Honorable Red, is recognized.
Madam Chair, I formally move for the adoption of a proposed resolution number 2024-744. Resolution extending profound commendation and heartfelt congratulations to Lawrence Joshua P. Soto for his stellar achievement in securing the gold medal at the prestigious 2024 Regional Schools Press Conference and celebrating his distinguished representation of Matalaba National High School and the province of Marinduque on the national stage. I move for the adoption of the committee report, Madam Chair.
Okay, any objection? For the yes, Honorable Leva, what is?
I am not objecting, Madam Chair, but I just would like to ask that we instruct the Secretariat to write the Department of Education if there are other winners aside from this mentioned individual, because I have been seeing at the Facebook and other social media, that there are other winners, perhaps not the first place, but there are other winners in the regional press conference. So, as an incidental motion or as a recommendation, aside from giving recognition to Joshua P. Santo Soto, we might as well write or send communication to the Department of Education Division of Marinduque to inquire if there are other winners aside from this individual.
But that will be, will the resolution be integrated or
That will be acted upon later.
separate? Okay, okay. So, but with regard to the item at hand,
Yes.
the recommendation of the committee is to approve a resolution extending the commendation to
Yes.
Lawrence Joshua Soto. That is without prejudice to the additional information being requested by Honorable Leva. So any objection to the adoption of the committee report and the recommendation? Hearing none, the motion of Honorable Red is approved. The committee report as rendered is now adopted.
Madam Chair, and the accompanying resolution be transferred to business of the day, Madam Chair.
Likewise, the resolution favorably recommended in the adopted report will be considered in the business for the day. Thank you, Honorable Red.
Is that the same with proposed resolution number 745? Well, that is only for 744.
Correct. Is there a separate committee report for the item 745? Again,
Separate, Madam Chair.
so may we now know the recommendation of the committee with regard to the second proposed resolution?
Madam Chair, I move for the approval. I move for the approval of congratulating and commending Ms. Rosette Claire Esplana La Canaria from Santa Cruz, Marinduque for being top 6 in the June 2024 licensure examination for the architect held on June 11 and June 13, 2024. I move for the adoption, Madam Chair.
So that is the recommendation of the committee, and the reporting committee chair is moving for the adoption of the report with favorable recommendation to the proposed resolution. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The committee report favorably endorsing the approval of proposed resolution number 2024-745 is now adopted.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Honorable
And the
Red.
accompanying resolution be transferred to the business of the day, Madam
And
Chair.
likewise, the recommended proposed resolutions will be considered in the business for the day. Salamat, Honorable Red. Yes, Honorable Eva.
Madam Presiding Officer, at this point, may I move for the conversion of the body into committee of the whole to consider the letter from Honorable Mark Anthony Isenyo. I so move.
Any second to the motion of the floor leader? Duly seconded. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. This body is now converted into a committee of the whole.
Madam Presiding Officer, before the committee of the whole is a motion for extension of time to file answer from Mark Anthony E. Senior, respondent. And may I read the content of the letter? Letter complaint of Joel Mascareñas and jointly by Reynold Manuba and Kenny Joy Sumugat against Mark Anthony E. Senior, Vice Mayor of Buwak, Marinduque, for oppression, misconduct in office, abuse of authority, and violation of Republic Act 6713. Comes now the undersigned by himself in the above entitled case and to the Honorable Office of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan of the Province of Marinduque most respectfully states that the respondent received the order of the Honorable Office of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan of the Province of Marinduque on June 13, 2024 for him to answer within 15 days the letter complaint of Joel Mascareñas and jointly by Reynold Manuba and Kenny Joy Sumugat, that the complaint of Joel Mascareñas allegedly occurred when I was Sangguniang board member, where the filing should be at the Office of the President as provided for in Section 61A of Republic Act 7160. Nevertheless, the undersigned prays that he be given an extension of 15 days to submit his answer, as due to the work schedule and activities in his position, the respondent was not able to compare with the lawyer to assist him in drafting the required answer. That for the said reason, respondent prays that he be given an extension of 15 days to submit his answer. Wherefore, premises considered, it is most respectfully prayed that this motion be granted, other reliefs just and equitable. Buwak Marinduque, June 27, 2024. Signed, Mark Anthony E. Senior, respondent.
Okay, thank you. So again, for leveling of appreciation of the facts, the period to file answer is supposed to end yesterday, but this request for extension has been submitted, and it is now the matter that will be decided by this August body. So what is the pleasure of the body? Can we open the floor for any deliberation on the issue? Yes, any manifestation of position. What is the pleasure of Honorable Leva?
Madam Presiding Officer, in the spirit of fairness and due process, may I move that we give the 15 days request, we grant the request of Mark Anthony E. Senior for 15 days extension without any further extension.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any second to the, is that a formal motion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
That's a formal motion. Any second to the motion to approve the granting of extension as requested by Honorable Mark Anthony Senior? Any second? Duly seconded. Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved, and the request of Honorable Anthony Senior for a 15 days extension to file answer is now approved.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I move that we revert back to the original form of the session.
This August body is now being reverted back from its original state as the Sangguniang Panlalawigan on its regular session.
We now go to the calendar of business, Madam Presiding Officer. We don't have any unfinished business. For the business for the day is proposed ordinance number 16-72. May I ask the Secretary to please read the title of the said proposed ordinance.
Yes, Secretary James is recognized.
Proposed ordinance number 16-72, an ordinance implementing the provisions of Republic Act number 9433, otherwise known as the Magna Carta for Public Social Workers or PSWs, by authorizing the governor to grant compensation-related benefits to PSWs, providing funds therefore, and for other related purposes, authored and sponsored by Honorable Mercedes Arellano, Chairperson of the Committee on Social Welfare and Development.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask that we recognize the lady from Santa Cruz for the sponsorship of the said measure.
Honorable Mercedes Arellano is recognized.
Madam Madam Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of the said ordinance for the second reading and open for period of debate
Okay.
and deliberation.
Thank you, Honorable Arellano. This particular item, this particular proposed ordinance, which is being moved for approval on second reading, is now open for further deliberation. Any deliberation from the floor? Meron po bang nais pang liwanagin o itanong o any position different from what is being proposed by the sponsoring member of the board? Yes, Honorable Arellano.
Before that, Honorable Presiding Officer, for the sa klaro po ng lahat, ito po ay dumaan na ng ating pong sa ating committee at naroon din po kasi Bukal Red is asking kung ano raw po noon. Ito po ay regarding po doon sa ating yung sa social welfare po, yung kay Mr. Joel Resilia na humihingi ng kanilang bayad na mag-grant po yung compensation nila doon sa bilang sila ay mga social worker ng ating probinsya. So, and with this, it is nagklaro rin po ito tungkol po rin sa ating yung Provincial Budget Officer na okay naman po ito at ito po ay kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, ito po ay nakasama doon sa ating approval ng supplemental budget noong nakaraan. Sir, Mr. hinihiling ng ating OIC animist ni PA para pong kasama ito doon sa ating approval.
Kasama po ba ang hazard pay sa compensation related benefits na binabanggit po dito?
Opo. Yung pong iba na talagang inaano na sila re-recognize na sila ay ng ating social work. Nandito rin po yung sa ating mga referred to yung pong mga empleyado naka-mention din po rito, naka-identified hazard pay, yung subsistence allowance, transportation, travel expenses, nandin po yung additional compensation for services beyond the normal works hour, the non-working days.
Thank you, Honorable Arellano. Meron po bang initial na bilang ng mga empleyado mula sa Provincial Social PSWDO na pwedeng mag-benefit out of, I understand hindi naman lahat po ito ng PSWD,
po. Yung po lamang talaga social
workers. Okay po. Sige ho.
Social workers lang po.
So, mga social workers lang po ito na nag-i-invoke na since, yun nga, expose sila rin sa mga similar risk na binibigyan ng compensation as per Magna Carta for Public Social Workers. Ini-invoke po nila ito na ma-apply sa kanila.
Yes, Madam. the public social workers na entitled po yung RA 9433. Not limited to a fair and just a compensation. Yung po mga ano nila ng yung required lang po talaga yung ano ng social worker, yung ano na sila. Talagang sila yung social welfare po dito sa ating public social welfare.
Thank you po. So far, ang alam din po ng presiding officer sa buong Marinduque, halos lahat na ng bayan, yung mga social worker nila sa mga MSWDO ay tumatanggap ng mga benefits na related po nga dito sa Magna Carta for Social Workers, like the hazard pay.
Yes po.
Kaya it will be good din naman po na ma-extend natin ito sa ating mga katuwang sa PSWD. I hope, siguro po maganda lang na ma-remind sila na hopefully ay mas maging inspire po sila, na mas maging masipag at mas maging patient sa mga kliyente po na tinetend nila po So okay, so meron pa po bang ibang additional information, additional questions? Kung wala na po, there is a pending shall we close the period of deliberation and debate and proceed? Again, what is the pleasure of Honorable Rejano?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Presiding Officer. I move for the closure of the period of debate and some additional information. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Rejano. The period of debate and deliberation and debate is now closed, and we can proceed with the pending motion of Honorable Rejano. There is a pending motion for the approval of the proposed ordinance number 16-72 on second reading. Any second to the motion by Honorable Rejano? Duly seconded by Honorable Encabo, Honorable Jojo Leva. Any objection? Hearing none, the motion of Honorable Rejano is approved. Proposed ordinance number 16-72 is now approved on second reading.
Madam Presiding Officer.
Yes, Honorable Rejano.
Sapagkat wala naman po ako narinig na pagbabago at iba pa mga information and revision regarding this for the second reading, I move that this will be approved for the third and final reading.
Okay. Any comment from the Chair of the Committee on Rules?
That will be considered later, Madam Presiding Officer.
Yes. Thank you. We will just finish all items, Honorable Rejano, that are for second reading. And then we will go back to, then we will proceed with items that are being recommended for third reading already.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Honorable Rejano.
Madam Presiding Officer, may this representation be recognized for the adoption of a resolution.
Proceed, Honorable Leva.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I move for the approval of a resolution ratifying the Memorandum of Agreement signed and entered into by in between the Provincial Government of Marinduque and the National Police Commission relative to the conduct of PNP entrance and promotional examinations in the province of Marinduque. I so move.
Any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Rejano, Honorable Bertinus Valencia. Any objection to the motion? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved, and the resolution granting authority to the Honorable Governor ratifying. I stand corrected. The recommendation and the motion is to ratify the resolution ratifying the memorandum of agreement signed and entered into by the provincial government through Honorable Governor Presbitero Velasco Junior with NAPOLCOM relative to the conduct of PNP entrance and the promotional examinations in the province of Marinduque is now approved.
Madam Presiding Officer, may I ask that we recognize the Chairperson of the Committee on Education for the adoption of a resolution.
Again, Honorable Red is recognized. This is with regard to what particular
TESDA.
item? Yes, okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Honorable Red.
I move for the approval of granting authority to enter into a memorandum of agreement by and between the provincial government of Marinduque, represented by our Governor, Presbytero J. Velasco, and Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, Buyabod School of Arts and Trades, TESDA, Basat, represented by Angelina M. Carion. I so move, Madam Chair.
Is there any second to the motion by Honorable Red? Duly seconded by Honorable Leva, Honorable Rejano. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resolution granting authority to the Honorable Governor Presbytero Velasco Jr. to enter and sign a memorandum of agreement on behalf of the provincial government of Marinduque with the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, Buyabod School of Arts and Trades, or TESDA, Bisat, regarding the enhanced training for heavy equipment operators for the Provincial Engineering Office personnel and other potential trainers is now approved.
Another resolution to be sponsored by the Committee on Education. May I ask that we recognize again the Chairperson.
Again, Honorable Red is recognized.
Madam Chair, I formally move for the approval of a resolution extending profound commendation and heartfelt congratulations to Lawrence Joshua P. Soto for his stellar achievements in securing the gold medal at the prestigious 2024 Regional Schools Press Conference and celebrating his distinguished representation of Matalaba National High School in the province of Marinduque on the national stage. I so move, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Honorable Red. Is there any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Leva, Honorable Rejano. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion of Honorable Red is approved. The resolution number 2024-744, a resolution extending profound commendation and heartfelt congratulations to Lawrence Joshua P. Soto for his stellar achievement in securing the gold medal at the prestigious 2024 Regional Schools Press Conference is now approved.
Another resolution to be sponsored by the Committee on Education is proposed resolution number 2024-745.
Honorable Red again is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I formally move for the approval of a resolution number 2024-745. Resolution congratulating and commending Ms. Rosette Claire Isplana, Lacaneria, from Santa Cruz, Marinduque, for being top 6 in the June 2024 licensure examination for the architect held on June 11 and 13, 2024. I so move, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Red. Any second to the motion? Duly seconded by Honorable Mangkukang. Any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Resolution number 2024-745, resolution congratulating and commending Ms. Rosette Claire Esplana Lacanaria from Santa Cruz, Marinduque, for being top 6 in the June 2024 licensure examination for architects is now approved.
That's all for the business for today. We don't have any assigned business. For the proposed ordinance and resolution for third and final reading, Madam Presiding Officer, at the behest of the sponsor and author, may I move that we consider for third and final reading proposed ordinance number 16-72. And for that matter, may I ask that we instruct the Secretariat to please read the entirety of the said measure.
Requesting our good secretary to kindly facilitate.
Proposed ordinance number 1672, whereas Republic Act number 9433, also known as the Magna Carta for Public Social Workers, aim to recognize the important role and contribution of public workers in the community, as well as promote their well-being and enhance the status of public social work profession in recognition of their vital role in the nation building. Whereas it is imperative to establish clear guidelines and mechanisms at the local level for the effective implementation of RA 9433 to ensure that the rights and privileges accorded to public social workers are upheld, protected, and advanced. Whereas it is necessary to allocate funds for the proper implementation of RA 9433 and to support the welfare and professional growth of public social workers in the provincial government. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan in session assembled, an ordinance implementing the provision of Republic Act number 9433, otherwise known as the Magna Carta for Public Social Workers, by authorizing the governor to grant compensation-related benefits to PSWs, providing funds therefore and for other related purposes, authored and sponsored by Honorable Mercedes Arellano, Chairperson of the Committee on Social Services. Section 1, title, this ordinance shall be known as the Marinduque Magna Carta for Public Social Workers Ordinance of 2024. Section 2, Declaration of Policy. It is hereby declared the policy of the provincial government of Marinduque to uphold the rights and privileges of public social workers as mandated by RA 9433. The provincial government of Marinduque recognizes the crucial role of public social workers in the delivery of social services. Hence, it commits to provide and ensure the provision of adequate support, resources, and protection to public social workers to enable them to effectively carry out their duties and responsibilities. Section 3, definition of terms. For the purpose of this ordinance, the following terms shall mean: public social worker or PSW refers to a registered social worker in the government service as defined in RA 9433. Public social worker and development worker or PSW-DW refer to a worker employed in the government, social welfare, and development agency other than the PSW as defined. RA 9433 or Republic Act number 9433, otherwise known as the Magna Carta for Public Social Workers. Section 4, General Policies in Classifying Public Social Workers. 4.1, a registered social worker can be classified as public social worker, PSW, if they met the following conditions. 4.1.1, RSW who are currently occupying social worker or social welfare officer position is classified as public social worker. RSW who are currently employed in social work and welfare agencies and institution and social work establishment whose position title is non-social work or social welfare related is classified as public social worker based on the following. 4.1.1, assigned or belonging to a bureau, service, or unit with SWD-related functions, and 4.1.2, functions and responsibilities or terms of reference involve the practice of social work. 4.2, social welfare and development or SWD function or an agency are authorized by law or proper authority. And number 4.3, the position concerned is part of the authorized staffing or organizational units performing SWD functions. Section 5, compensation-related benefits of PSWs. PSWs employed in the provincial government of Marinduque holding regular, contractual, or casual positions, rendering services on a full-time or part-time basis, and whose positions are either covered or not covered by RA 6758 are hereby granted the following compensation-related benefits subject to the provisions of Joint Circular Number 1, Series 2018 of DBM and DSWD to wit. Number 1, additional compensation for services beyond the normal work hours and on non-working days. Number 2, hazard pay. Number 3, subsistence allowance. Number 4, transportation or travel expenses. Number 5, longevity pay. Number 6, free living quarters or quarter allowance. Number 7, highest basic salary upon retirement. And number 8, clothing allowance. PSW, DWs are covered only insofar as the grant of hazard pay is concerned. Section 6, implementation mechanisms. Number 1, establishment of implementing agency. The Social Welfare and Development Office, or the PSWDO, is hereby designated as the lead implementing agency of the provincial government responsible for the effective implementation of RA 9433 within its jurisdiction. PSWDO shall coordinate with the Provincial Human Resource Management Office and the Provincial Budget Office. This implementing agency shall be tasked with the following. Letter A, disseminating information about RA 9433 to all concerned stakeholders, including public social workers and relevant government agencies. Letter B, monitoring compliance with the provisions of RA 9433 and addressing any violations thereof. Letter C, facilitating the provisions of benefits and entitlements to public social workers in accordance with RA 9433. Letter D, handling complaints, grievances, and disputes related to the implementation of RA 9433. Letter E, reporting periodically to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan through the Committee on Social Services on the status of RA 9433 implementation. 6.2, allocation of fund. There is hereby allocated necessary fund for the implementation of RA 9433, including but not limited to the provisions of benefits, capacity building programs, and administrative expenses of implementing agency sourced from any available savings of the provincial government. 6.3, collaboration with stakeholders. The implementing agency or agencies shall collaborate with the relevant government agencies, non-governmental organizations, and other stakeholders to ensure the effective implementation of RA 9433 and the promotion of welfare of public social workers. Section 7, rights and privileges of public social workers. Number 1, public social workers shall be entitled to all rights and privileges provided for under RA 9433, including but not limited to, letter A, fair and just compensation. Letter B, protection from harassment and discrimination. Letter C, access to professional development and training opportunities. And letter D, hazard pay and other benefits as provided by law. Now, 7.2 is the provincial government shall ensure the fulfillment of these rights and privileges through appropriate measures and budget allocation. Section 8, funding. 8.1, an annual budget shall be allocated to support the implementation of this ordinance and the provisions of RA 9433 charged to any available source or sources of fund of the province of the province. 8.2, the fund shall cover but not limited to the following. Letter A, salaries, benefits, and incentives for public social workers in accordance with RA 9433. Letter B, capacity building programs and training initiatives for professional development. Letter C, administrative and operational expenses related to the implementation of RA 9433. Now, Section 9, monitoring and evaluation. Number 1, the Provincial Social Welfare and Development Office, in coordination with the Provincial Human Resource Management Office, the Provincial Budget Office, shall conduct regular monitoring and evaluation of the implementation of this ordinance and RA 9433. Number 2, a report on the status of implementation, including challenges encountered and recommendations for improvement, shall be submitted to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan through the Committee on Social Services on an annual basis. Section 10, supplementary clause, the provisions of the implementing rules and regulations of RA 9433 and Joint Circular Number 1, Series 2018 of DBM and DSWD shall apply as supplementary provisions of this ordinance. Section 11, repealing clause, All ordinances, rules, regulations, or part thereof, which are inconsistent with the provisions of this ordinance, are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. Section 12, Separability Clause. If any provision of this ordinance is declared invalid or unconstitutional, the remaining provisions not affected thereby shall remain in full force and effect. Section 13, Effectivity. This ordinance shall be effective January 1, 2024.
Madam Presiding Officer, I
Yes,
may move that we
Honorable.
consider the voting through nominal voting.
But before that,
Yes.
the presiding officer recognized and aware that we are already on third reading. But may the presiding officer just be clarified, ano pong ibig sabihin ng line 14? PSWDWs are covered only insofar as grant of hazard pay is concerned. Ha?
Yung ano po,
Hindi sila registered.
hindi sila social worker, pero nagtatrabaho sila sa social work related.
Okay, so they will be granted only hazard
Hazard
pay.
pay,
Okay. Okay. So the presiding officer is clarified. So we will proceed with the nominal voting as requested by the floor leader. Sir James, kindly facilitate.
Honorable Mark Julius P. Caballes,
Yes.
Honorable Aurelio J. Leva III, Honorable Antonio L. Mangkukang III,
Yes.
Honorable Mel Incabo,
Yes.
Honorable Mercedes Arellano,
Yes.
Honorable Danilo Arred,
Yes.
Honorable Carlos F. De Peralta,
Ay, like yung liig mo eh.
Honorable Bertinos A. Valencia. Madam Presiding Officer, the result of the nominal voting, 8 voted in favor of the motion, no one abstained, and nobody objected to the motion.
With taking into consideration the result of the nominal voting, how many? 8 with 8 members of the board voting favorably. The chair declares ordinance number 16-72 entitled an ordinance implementing the provisions of Republic Act number 9433, otherwise known as the Magna Carta for Public Social Workers, PSWs, by authorizing the governor to grant compensation-related benefits to PSWs, providing funds therefore, and for other related purposes, authored by Honorable Mercedes Arellano and is sponsored by the Committee on Social Welfare and Development, also chaired by Honorable Mercedes Arellano, with members Honorable Bernardine E. Opis Mercado, Honorable Antonio Mangkukang III, Honorable Mark Julius Caballes, Honorable Danny Arred, is now approved on third and final reading.
Thank you po.
So other announcements? Kung wala, yes, Bokal Bertinos, do you have announcement?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since there are no more announcement or any concerns about something, I move for the adjournment of today's session, Madam Chair.
Upon motion, and only motion, for now, of our Honorable Bertinos Valencia, this session is now adjourned, and our next session will be on July 5 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.